about a nice, easy flow chart that covers the way to answer just about any single phone call, especially a new patient phone call, but just about any single phone call comes into your dental practice. Well, that's what we're going to be doing today on the Dental Practice Fixers podcast. So thanks so much for joining me. I'm Dr. Richard Madow. I'm co-founder of the Madow Center for Dental Practice Success, along with my brother, Dr. David Madow. And for over 30 years, wow, 30 years, we've been teaching, doing seminars, writing, blogging, all kinds of stuff, coaching, consulting, of course, and a ton of other things to help our fellow dentists, our colleagues, and our team members. We never forget the team members. Help you have greater success in your dental practice. And whatever that means to you, it could mean greater financial success, could mean more time off, it could mean you want to just have more fun when you practice, maybe provide better patient care and a better patient experience. Why not all of the above? Let's do all of the above. So that's what we've been doing for over 30 years. And thanks so much for joining me today on the Dental Practice Fixers podcast. Speaking of earning more money, it's so much easier to lower your overhead than to do more procedures on patients, isn't it? I mean, you should be doing both, of course, but lowering your overhead is the no-brainer's no-brainer. And if you are not using Fat Merchant for your credit card processing, what? McFly? I mean, seriously, what's going on here? Fat Merchant does not charge an overage percentage, just a low monthly fixed fee. So of course you got to pay American Express, MasterCard, Visa, Discover, whatever. You got to pay them their percentage. And they do that every time someone makes a charge. But then your credit card processor tacks on an extra percentage. So if you have an incredibly successful month, then you're going to be paying more to them for your credit card processing. And why would you ever want to do that? So switch to Fat Merchant, low monthly fee. Just go to madow.com/save. That's madow.com/SAVE and get all started up with Fat Merchant. Okay, something occurred to me because I was actually going to read it. We've been getting so many nice emails. I was going to say letters, but they're all emails these days, emails and some other communications. And I put a bunch of them together and I was going to take care of those on today's episode of the Dental Practice Fixers. But then I realized for 76 episodes, we have been doing mystery shopper calls, secret shopper calls. I call them phony phone calls. It doesn't matter, whatever you want to call them. And I never really explained, we go through them piece by piece and say what could have been done better, but I've never really talked about a flow chart for handling just about any phone call that comes into your practice, particularly any new patient phone call that comes into your practice. And that's what I want to talk about in the first portion of today's podcast. And then we'll do some calls. Why the heck not? So I've got a little acronym I developed many years ago, actually, and it's named after a state, and that is the great state of Alaska. So each step in it follows the spelling of Alaska, A-L-A-S-K-A. So I call this the Alaska system. And it's very simplified. And of course, everything gets more complex in actual practice, but it's a really great, simple framework for handling just about any phone call that comes into your dental practice. So let's start. Let's talk about the Alaska system. What do you do when the phone rings in your office? Well, the first thing you do starts with the letter A, and I think you know what that is. Say it out loud for me right now. That's right. You got that right. You answer the phone, but please answer it on one ring, 2 rings maximum. Studies have been shown about phone answering in a business or professional situation. And they say that if you don't answer in the first 2 rings, a lot of people will just hang up on you. Look, let's face it, a lot of people don't really want to go to the dentist. They're making this call. They're looking for any reason to hang up. So, the phone rings once, the phone rings twice. They're getting a little nervous. Did I call the right number? Forget it. Click, hang up. And you never even know that person existed. So please answer 1 ring, 2 maximum. And it also is a good, efficient way to set the first impression. This is the first impression. Chances are this is the first impression this new patient's having of your practice. Answer right away. That's a great first impression. Now, how do you answer? Dental office. Oh, geez, I hope not. There's one of the mystery shopper calls today. You'll hear they just answered, hello? It's like, what? Is this a dental practice? You're going to answer the phone, hello? Like I'm calling my second cousin? Come on now. So how do you answer the phone? Well, here's the way I love to do it. It takes a couple steps. Thank you for calling Dr. Maddow's office. This is Rich speaking. I can help you. Now, if you think it sounds a little corny or whatever, hang on. Let's analyze it. Thank you for calling. Well, of course, that's an old chestnut. We've known about that for decades, but it's just a good, polite way to start any phone call. Thank you for calling Dr. Maddow's office or Smiles of Greater Baltimore or whatever it is. Again, let them know they called the right place. Yes, you did. You called the right office. This is the office you called. This is Rich speaking. Now, again, you're going to turn the tables on them and ask them their name pretty soon. So give your name first. These are just all ways of setting a nice, friendly tone, a good first impression. And then the killer line that I love, I can help you. Yeah, it might sound a little weird when you first hear it, but it's different. It's enthusiastic, and you will get comments like, oh, I'm so glad you can help me because I had a question, or I love the way you answer your phone. I appreciate your enthusiasm. Whatever it is, you will get great comments. We have been answering the phones this way at the Maddow Center for years. We've held thousands of practices to do it, and it's just a winner. Let's review it again. Thank you for calling Smiles of Greater Baltimore. This is Sylvia speaking. I can help you. Boom, there you go. That's the A. Now, L. L stands for listen, but really listen. I mean, sometimes these new patients, they're nervous, they're antsy, they're chatty Cathys, whatever you want to call it, the blah, 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 blah. Now here on the East Coast, I'm in Baltimore, Maryland. You know, we have the reputation for being a little abrupt or brusque or whatever you want to say, you know, Baltimore, Philly, Jersey, New York, you know, well, that's the way we do things around here. DC. Then when you go south, I think everybody gets a lot nicer. But that's the way we do things here on the East Coast. But don't cut the person off. Just listen. But that when you're listening, it doesn't mean that you hold the phone up in the air and make goo-goo eyes. I don't care what they're saying. Listen and listen and listen and really listen. It's the polite thing to do. But while you're listening, they could be dropping off hints or clues that will let you know a lot of things about their treatment or their appointment. Is this an emergency or not? Am I going to schedule this patient with a doctor or with a hygienist? How about getting some more patients just because they're listening? Let's say that somebody says, oh yeah, I just moved to Baltimore because my wife works for T. Rowe Price. That's a big company headquartered here, just a few blocks from my home, actually. Yeah, I just moved to Baltimore because my wife's an analyst with T. Rowe Price. Oh, fantastic. That's just a few blocks from our office. We have a lot of patients that work there. You have fantastic insurance. Congratulations. Does your wife need an appointment too? And boom, just by listening, you've gained an extra patient. Because you were patient and you took the time and listened. You know that there's a husband and wife involved. Oh, and by the way, I can't come in on Wednesdays. That's the day that I volunteer at school. Oh, where do your kids go to school? Oh, they go to Federal Hill Elementary. Oh, that's just around the corner from us. That's a great school. Do you know that we see kids here? We love kids. Yeah, sure you do. You gotta lie sometimes. Yeah, we love kids. Bring your kids in too. Now you got 4 patients and you only would have had 1 if you weren't really listening and paying attention and being very caring. So answer the phone. Listen, A. Oh, no, we've got A, S. This is the part where we're going to analyze and solve what we've just listened to. Now, that doesn't mean you have to go overboard. I know that some of these dental office supply companies make these notepads. They're always pink for some reason. Even though we enter everything into the computer now, they still make these notepads. I see them all the time. You keep them by the phone. And it means when a new patient calls, they want you to ask them all sorts of questions. Now, I don't think you have to get that detailed. What kind of questions are you going to ask the person? When did you last see a dentist? Oh, I don't know. They always say, 9 months ago. It was probably 5 years ago. My favorite, when was your last full set of x-rays? They don't know what a full set of x-rays is, so they make something up, and you don't need them anyway most of the time. And then if you do get their x-rays transferred, what do you get? You get like a 10-year-old set of over-duplicated, cone-cut bite wings with coffee stains on them that are blurry. You can't read them anyway. I don't know why you need to ask this question. Then start asking clinical questions. Are you having any sensitivity? Are you sensitive to hot? Are you sensitive to cold? Are you a sensitive person? Does it hurt when you bite? Does it hurt when you chew? Does it hurt if you stick your finger in your eyeball? I mean, you're going to be doing all these things when they come in anyway. Why are you wasting the patient's time asking these questions, getting inaccurate answers, when you're going to have to redo the whole thing, do the exam, do the health questionnaire and the medical history when they come in anyway? This just makes no sense to me. Instead, how about a little friendly banter? Welcome to town. How long have you been here? Blah, 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 blah. Anything. Just get them engaged in something warm and something friendly instead of asking all these clinical type questions that don't mean anything anyway. But this is where you're going to ask the minimal amount of questions while still being friendly to start to proceed to the part where you want to get them off the phone and into the appointment book. Now, this is the time when patients ask questions as well. And as we know, one of the toughest questions we get from a new patient is, how much is a cleaning? And if a patient really backs you against the wall and you have to give fees over the phone, I'm not a fan of doing it. I'd much rather have them come in for a free consult and tell them, like, why don't we bring you in for a free consult? You can meet the doctor. That way we can see exactly what your situation is and give you an accurate estimate. So if they really back you against the wall, of course, you might give a range. You might have some caveats and say, well, it depends on this, it depends on that. But think about this. If at this point, the patient says to you, how much do you charge for a cleaning? Who's in charge of this conversation, you or them? Well, you are. So this is a great time to say something like, oh, it sounds like you're looking for a new dentist. Is that right? Boom. Now the conversation is completely different. Yes, I am looking for a new dentist. Oh, great. Well, let me tell you about our practice. Or may I ask why you're looking for a new dental home? Whatever you want to say then, friendly, warm, engaging, leading towards the appointment. You're in charge of the conversation. You can always turn it around and get the patient to realize that they are looking for a new dentist. And this is the place for them. Now, along those lines, and I'm doing this really quickly, it's a little more complicated, but I highly suggest that you review the Alaska system at your next team meeting, go through each and every step. But remember, we're always warm, we're friendly. We don't want to ask more questions than necessary. We want to get the patient to love our practice every step of the way. And of course, we want to lead towards making an appointment. So we've done A, L, A, S, and now we're on the K. Speaking of leading towards an appointment, the K is something that takes about 5 seconds. And I don't know that I've ever heard any medical or dental practice do this when I've called as a new patient to make an appointment. The K stands for kindness, and it takes 5 seconds. And your potential patients have never heard anything like this. So let's say you've had the conversation, you've answered, you've listened, you've analyzed, you've solved. Now you're about to go for the appointment, but before that, K, 5 seconds of kindness. You will love it here. Dr. Carlin's been in this area for over 20 years, and she is up on the latest and greatest, beautiful, high-tech dentistry, but she still has that great personal touch. She's so great with her patients. We all love her. We come here as patients, and I promise you will be happy. Does anyone ever do anything like that? Absolutely not. They don't. So your patients are going to plot, your potential patients. They know this is the greatest office they've ever contacted when you do that. So K, kindness, 5 seconds. Now we're going to go for the A, which is action. It's time to take action. And there's usually another A, which is appoint. But don't say, would you like to make an appointment? Or can I get you scheduled? Because then if they say no, where do you go from there? You don't really have much room from there. So offer up 2 good times. We'd love to see you as a new patient in our practice. We can see you today at 2 p.m. or tomorrow at 11:30 a.m., which works best for you. Whatever it is, offer up 2 good times. Don't make it a yes or no. Make it a multiple choice. We'd love to see you in our practice. And if neither of those times are good, offer another. Keep offering times until you get that patient off the phone and into the appointment book. Now, granted, not everybody can schedule right then and there. Some people, maybe they're putting you off. Some people maybe have a legit reason. Let's say that somebody says, oh, I really want to make an appointment, but I've got to check my work schedule. Well, they're not lost and gone forever because we're going to make a mini appointment. The mini appointment means you'll say something like, oh, that's fantastic. Would you mind if I just got some information from you? Get their name, all their phone numbers, work, cell, landline if they still have a landline. We finally got rid of our landline about 4 months ago, and I got to admit, I don't miss it. It took me so long to get to that point. My wife kept saying, Rich, let's get rid of this landline. No, I want to keep the landline. Maybe I don't know why the heck I did, but we finally got rid of it, and I don't miss it. My wife's much more tech forward than I am, I think. Anyway, at this point, we're going to make the mini appointment, which means we're going to say, okay, great, check your work schedule. That's fine. Now, let's see. Right now, it is Monday at about 2:30 p.m. Would it be okay if I reached out to you Thursday at 2:30 p.m.? Would that give you enough time? And they'll say, sure, no problem. Okay, let me make sure I get your numbers. Let me confirm. I'm going to call you on your mobile. Is that good? Okay, let me confirm. That's 410-764-2274, whatever. You've done all this stuff. You've made the mini appointment. Now they check their work schedule, their carpool. They check whatever they need to check. Their TV schedule. I don't care what the heck they check it. And then you call them back 4 days later and they answer the phone and you make the appointment and everything's great unless they don't answer the phone. Are we now lost and gone forever? No, because now you've got their name and their contact information. And let's say 2 weeks go by and you get a last minute cancellation or there's a hole in the schedule. Call them up. Hey, Ann, this is Patty at Dr. Carlin's office. It was so great speaking with you 2 weeks ago. How are things going? There's blah, 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 blah. Friendly chit chat, friendly chit chat, friendly chit chat. Hey, just wanted to let you know, we had a change in our schedule. Not we had a cancellation, or we had a change in our schedule, and we can see you today at 11:30 a.m. If that works for you, I highly recommend you grab it. Make it seem like it's a really special thing. Boom. Now you've got a new patient. That is the Alaska system. Practices that use the Alaska system magically report that their new patient numbers go up. You know, we're always after that new patient fix. I want to spend so much money on marketing to get new patients, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we find most practices, first of all, patients are running out the back door, so we need to put in systems and protocols so that these patients stay in place. But also, the phone technique, the phone protocols will automatically bring in more new patients because people are calling your practice and 90% of the time, they're not getting appointed. So please, do the Alaska system. Have a team meeting about it. Expand on it. Change it. Customize it. I don't care what you do with it, but just do it. Do your version of the Alaska system and you will see more new patients. You know, speaking of patients leaving out the back door, that's actually one of my favorite mind-blowing data points when we do a practice analysis for someone. It's incredible because we actually make this chart for you that shows how many new patients are coming in each month and how many patients are exiting. And typically in just about every office, no matter how great they think they are, the amount of patients exiting are equal or greater to the amount of new patients coming in. And then we check all kinds of other things, the percentage of your patients in perio treatment, how many existing patients have an actual appointment on the books, all kinds of great data points that you need to know. We do this at no charge, and it's fun, and it's revealing, and you learn a lot about your practice, the good and the bad. Because if you don't know what's going on that's not great, how could you ever improve it? So we'd love to do it for you. Just go to Mato.com/snapshot. That's for practice owners only, Mato.com/snapshot, and we'll do a free data analysis, no obligation, no pressure. They're really, really cool. So go ahead and do that now. Okay, we talked about how to answer the phones and how to get patients off the phone and in the appointment book. Do you think anybody on the mystery shopper calls we're going to do right now will do it that way? Let's find out. Today, I'm asking the same question of all these offices. Do you do whitening? Okay, ready? Let's go over here to Command Central and we will pull up call number 1 for today.
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, is this the dental office?
Yes, it is.
Yes, do you do tooth whitening there?
We do. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. How's that work?
Well, you come in and, I'm sorry, I have my mask on. You'll come in and then they will take an impression and then they will do a bleaching tray for you. So they'll make up the mold and then you'll come back like in a few days and then pick up the kit.
Just pick it up. Okay, got it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. You're welcome. Bye.
Okay, bye. Wow, was that enticing? First of all, she answers the phone. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, yeah, we do that. You come in, they make a mold. I love that word. They make a mold. You come in, you pick up the kit, blah, blah. No information, no attempt to get any information from me. Who am I that wants my teeth whitened? And then no attempt whatsoever to make an appointment. I mean, zero. This person, she was so blasé too. It's not part of the Alaska system, but let's see a little enthusiasm here. Come on, act like you wanted this patient to come into your practice, not like they're torturing you. That was bad all around. I just have nothing good to say about that call, except that it was better than the 3 other calls I made before that where they didn't even answer the phone and I got a voicemail. That's the worst. Voicemail during regular business hours. This was at least a real person, but she needs to improve. And I'll bet she has the potential to improve. So use the Alaska system there, whoever you are. Not good. Okay, let's go back to Command Central. Call number 2 for today.
If you're a new patient, please press 1. For all other calls, please press 2.
I feel like I'm being screened a little bit here.
This call may be recorded for quality and training purposes.
Good afternoon. How can I help you?
Hi, do you do the whitening there, tooth whitening?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? It's kind of hard to hear you.
Oh, do you do tooth whitening there? Tooth whitening.
We do. Are you looking into like an individual or just whitening in general, like for your full mouth?
Oh, you mean like one tooth versus everything?
Right, right.
I just like a full whitening, like a smile brightening kind of thing.
Yeah, we do. We have a couple kinds of whitening. If you're interested in hearing about some of the pricing and kind of a description on how it works, I can give you that information.
What's like the basic whitening I'll go for? What's that all about?
So the one that a lot of patients go for, because it's a take-home option instead of, it's less time in general. We have an in-house one that takes about 2 hours, so not everyone wants to, hang out for that period of time. But we do have take-home whitening, which is basically you would come in and you would have like your mouth molded for trays. And you basically have like a whitening gel, and dependent on how strong it is, you would have it on for a different period of time. And we would let you know. It depends on like how sensitive you are. People get different strengths. But it's $600 for the take-home whitening, which is the more popular of the two kinds that we have. And each year you would just get kind of like I guess you could call it like a refresh whitening, where it's $50 to do, and it's just once a year after you have, the $600 one, you go back and you basically like refresh it annually.
Got it. I mean, that's a pretty decent amount of money. Does that typically work? What would happen if it just doesn't make my teeth any whiter?
Well, what we would do is we would definitely want you to have like an exam to see, if there would be any treatment you would need done first. Like, some patients haven't gone to the dentist in like a super long amount of time, and they have buildup on their teeth, which obviously they would need that taken care of first, which would be an issue. So the doctor would be able to, tell you, you wouldn't drink things like coffee. Like you couldn't have coffee while you're doing the whitening because that would prevent you from having a bright smile. But we haven't had patients really that have had an issue with, not achieving the level of whiteness that they're looking for or the brighter smile that they're looking for.
Cool. Got it. Well, hey, thank you so much for that information. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. No problem. And if you don't need anything else, I hope you have a great rest of your week.
Oh, you too. Thank you so much. Bye.
All right. No problem. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Wow, she certainly was nice. I love that ending. If you don't need anything else, I hope you have a great rest of the week. How about suggesting that I make an appointment to come in? Holy moly. What was up with that? 3 minutes and 26 seconds of way more information than I could ever need. And then she just says, have a great week, and hangs up on me. Holy moly, why would anybody ever do that? She had me on the phone for a long time. I think she gave way too much information, way too many details. But the fact is, I was listening, I was interested. And then she doesn't even try to get me on the books. Oh my gosh. Just not good. And speaking of way too much information, why couldn't she just say like enthusiastically, yes, we do whitening. The results are fantastic. Let me tell you a little bit about it. Why don't we get you in so we can see if you're a candidate or just something like that? Jeez, get the patient in. That was just, she was nice. She was knowledgeable. She went way too detailed, way too much information that I didn't even come close to asking for. And then boom, closing it out by telling me to have a nice, that's kind of like, oh, have a nice day. It's like, get the heck out of here. I'm done with you, chump. Woo, not good. Okay, let's do one more call. Back to Command Central for call number 3. Same question.
Here, this is Nicole. How may I help you?
Hi, do you do tooth whitening in your office?
We do. We offer the iSmile whitening. It's a 1 hour, 1.5 hour in-office procedure that we do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's $500, and we'd have to see you as a patient already, or as a new patient if you're not an existing patient already, to see if there's any treatment needs before any whitening.
I see. So it's $500. Is that much better than like what I would get at CVS?
Yes, it's a lot stronger. It's a lot higher percentage than any over-the-counter ones that you can buy. But everyone's teeth whiten differently, so it's hard to be 100% guaranteed, but it does work better than over-the-counter products.
Great. Thank you so much.
Of course. Is there anything I can get scheduled for you?
I think that'll do it for now. Thanks.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a nice day.
Bye.
She almost did it. She said, is there anything I can get scheduled for you? She asked the yes or no question, but at least she made some attempt. So we got to say she was better than those other two. Now, she gave a very high fee. I'm not saying it's high. I'm not saying you shouldn't charge that, but I'm just saying to the typical caller, that probably seemed like a lot of money for whitening, $500, and then said, but we need to see you as a regular patient first anyway. I don't know why she didn't just say that, yes, we do whitening. We have great results. I'll tell you what our first step is to see you as a regular patient or a consult or whatever, and then actually ask for a specific appointment time by giving two good choices. But I got to say, she was head and shoulders above the other two, especially because at the end she said, is there anything I can get scheduled for you? Not bad. Would have been much better to offer 2 times, but hey, at least I'm not going to give that an F. We'll give that one a C-, maybe a C+. I don't know. The grades don't matter. But now that you know the Alaska system, these mistakes won't be made by anyone in your practice. And everybody needs to know how to do this, not just the front desk people, the docs, the team members, everybody. You can discuss these things at team meetings, but then if the phone's ringing and somebody can't pick it up, somebody else from the back, from the clinical area can grab it and they'll still know how to handle a phone call. So there you have it. That is this week's edition of the Dental Practice Fixers podcast. We'd love to do a snapshot for you. Maybe I'll even get on the phone too and chat with you about it should you like. So just go to Madow.com/snapshot, MADOW.com/snapshot. As long as you're on the Madow.com realm, lower your overhead with Fat Merchant. I talked about them at the beginning. They do not charge an overage percentage for your credit card processing, so you will save money. Go to Madow.com/save. And I am Dr. Richard Madow, co-founder of the Madow Center for Dental Practice Success. Thanks for being with us on this week's edition of the Dental Practice Fixers podcast. I'll see you soon.